Hello, my name is Fenna. Welcome to Following Fenna. I am a certified counselor and I work with people in a Limerent episode and also with their partner. Now, how to prevent limerence, the complete guide. And I just released, I think 2 weeks ago, a how to overcome limerence, the complete guide, where I also talk a little about prevention. But now I want to get deeper into this subject. How to never be limerent again. And I'm going to explain to you how. Preventing limerence, a state of intense and obsessive emotional infatuation, involves self-awareness and also protective strategies. Being proactive is necessary if you are vulnerable for limerence. Because just going through life, floating through life without having a plan, and then meeting someone attractive and then just go with whatever feelings you get from them can bring you in a lot of trouble. And maybe you've heard me explain this before, but it is so important to also know that becoming limerent, we need 3 components or ingredients. We need the vulnerability, which stems from our own trauma or our inherited trauma. We need the circumstances prior, a few years or months prior to the beginning of the limerence. And with circumstances, I mean the unsatisfaction, the dissatisfaction, a life event, or our suppressed needs. And then meeting the wrong person is ingredient number 3, who gives you a little but not all, so your nervous system cannot predict where and when and how close this person is. It cannot form a safe relationship, and there is limited access to this person, and there are intermittent rewards such as validation or contact. And then we have all the 3 ingredients of this toxic state of mind, aka addiction, aka limerence. And I think by now every expert, there are also experts out there, agree that not having contact, going no contact, is the way, the fastest way out of limerence. Like an alcoholic needs to stop drinking. You can't drink a little, you can't control your drinking, you need to stop it in order to get your addicted life back. Now the same goes for limerence. In order to regulate your dysregulated system, hormones, you need to stop contact with your limerent object, meaning the other person. And yes, that is scary because the pull of attachment is so incredibly strong. And we literally fear detaching in limerence. But we have to do it anyway. Then we go through the withdrawal. And basically the withdrawal is the process of your hormones trying to get back in homeostasis, to regulate again, which is painful, but also healthy and necessary. And we go through the grief. And also the grief is necessary. The grief is the tool to disconnect, to detach. All my clients want to skip the grief, or they want the grief to be gone and stop it. And they say, Fenna, how do I stop being triggered? How do I stop obsessing about them? You can't. You let the grief do its things. Grief is the tool. Your only job is to stay out of contact. And then grief will do the rest, and it will bring you to the new situation where LO will not be a big part of your life anymore, and this limerence will not hurt anymore. So, you went no contact. And many people are scared to be or become limerent again in the future, which I understand, because no one likes to lose their sanity for a couple of years. especially if you have had multiple episodes. So, how to prevent this? First, educate yourself about limerence. Learn about limerence. If you know limerence, not only you can detect the early signs and you can see when it starts to develop, but understanding the emotional and psychological patterns can help you identify what is going on and what happened here. And like I always say, awareness creates choice, and choice gives you power. You can continue to do A, but if you become more aware that actually A is not helping you in the long run, it's making you miserable, you can decide to do B. Give B a try. Now, many of us had no clue what limerence was the last time we felt the glimmer. We just did what felt good. Like continue to seek contact with this person. That's the whole role of dopamine, to keep doing what feels good. That's also how we survive as a species. Keep doing what feels good. Little text here, little contact there. We at the time had no idea that we were slowly training our brain into an addiction. And to be honest, limerence feels great. In the first few weeks or months, we enjoyed the highs until we found ourselves stuck and miserable. And most of us started to Google, what is wrong with me? What the hell is wrong with me? So awareness, what it is, how it works, what are your ingredients, your specific ingredients is so important. Look at your personal ingredients, the 3 components of limerence. You need to investigate them. Where do my attachment wounds come from? Was it my childhood? Was it my mother's? My granddad's maybe? What was going on in their lives? Are there things that they haven't worked through? Was there abuse? Was there a war going on? Were there parents who died? Were there parents who left? Did siblings die? Were there immigrations? Unhealed, unworked through with a therapist kind of pain. And I do advise you to work through the issues that you think contributed to the first ingredient, the vulnerability for limerence. Find a therapist. And the therapist doesn't have to know limerence, but all therapists know trauma. And I also hope that all therapists know inherited trauma, or at least they know the term attachment wounds. And sometimes it's not so simple as to say, oh, I'm anxiously attached, because I think attachment styles can be fluid. If I speak for myself, it depends heavily on the contact with the other person. I'll get back to that later in the video also. But with an avoidant, I get anxious, extremely anxious. With an anxious person, I tend to become more avoidant. And with a safe person, I tend to also act and feel more securely attached and calm. Anyway, things from the past need to be addressed in order to not become limerent again. Now, then we have the second ingredient. The circumstances need also be addressed. What opened the door, the gateway to limerence? What happened months or up to 2 years prior to beginning of the limerence? Were there unmet needs, suppressed needs or emotions, life events such as a loss or a big change? Maybe you were stuck in an unhappy marriage. Did you lose someone? Did your life change at one point? Were you bored? Was it a pandemic? Did you miss a social life? What was going on? And of course, see if you can do anything in order to get those needs met. And I don't mean by LO, I mean by you. Personal growth, expanding your life, pick up meaningful projects such as volunteer work. Purposeful things protect us against limerence. If we are somewhat satisfied, no one is always satisfied, but if we are somewhat satisfied, we have the need for escapism or escape, or the thrill of the escape in an addiction. We have it less. So having hobbies, connecting with people, being creative, everything that is healthy to us humans basically is good. Sport, learn, connect. And of course, one of these things will not do the trick, like sport. I mean, I know many limerents who became limerent for their gym trainer. But having your needs met, living in a healthy way, and doing things that give your life meaning is a good protection against limerence. Because it strengthens your nervous system, it gives you body, it gives you some power and some carrying capacity. And here we also choose long over short. The long-term somewhat satisfaction over the quick rush of limerence. And this brings me to another huge protection against limerence. Living in integrity. Do as you say as you do. Live by your values. That means no more lying, no cheating, not being secretive about something, because this feeds limerence. Messing around with married people or students, no more playing with fire, because playing with fire, being out of integrity, gets us in trouble. Because then we can't form a safe, secure relation with this person. And instead we cheat, we hide, we pretend, and limerence loves that. And I use the word pretend because pretending to be a platonic friend to your limerent object is also being out of integrity. Pretending to be okay with a situationship, not honest. Pretending to be okay to be the side person while you're crawling up the wall, not honest. Pretending not to be in love with a person, not really honest. Limerence can lure and grow in dark little corners of your dishonesty. Bringing things to the light of day protects us against limerence. Disclose? Perfect. As clarity? Perfect. Hey, what do you want from me? How do you see us? Be clear on what is going on. Tell them that you're miserable in this contact. You can say something like, hey, I need more inconsistent contact. Can we talk about that? Express what you want and need from the other person. Good for you, expressing what you want. Set boundaries if you don't want to be a F-body. That's perfect. I always tell my client, define what it is that they want in life. Have a plan. Having a plan is part of being proactive, and it protects you against limerence. Sit down and think or write what kind of relationship you want to have. For me, that is a monogamous relationship with somebody I can see 2 or 3 times per week. I need some interaction on a daily basis. I don't need to live together, and I don't really want to get married, but I also wouldn't mind that if that is something that the other person really wants. Now, that is defining what you want. That gives direction. Now, my job was to go look for that person. No compromises in this. And I just spoke to a client today and we prioritized what he wanted. And he also wanted to have a monogamous relationship with somebody that is close by, not in a secret, and somebody that he could see weekly. Anything else is a deal breaker. So no online relationship, no long distance, no affair, no poly. In this case, these were the needs of my client. And it's not too much to ask. There are millions of people out there who want what you want. I, by the way, did find somebody who wants exactly this. And this keeps my nervous system calm. I feel secure. And this is called emotional resonance. Me and my partner are in tune. And this keeps my brain calm because I can approximately predict subconsciously where this person stands in time, place, and how close they are emotionally to me. And our brain really likes that. So please define what it is that you want. And you can also express that early in the dating process. Don't pretend to be open for anything if you're not. Don't go along with the opposite of what you want just because this person is attractive. Stick to your plan. So if you don't define exactly what it is you want, there's more chance that your boundaries can get blurry. That you just go with the flow with this attractive person because it feels good. And of course, that's the pull of dopamine, which is really strong. So have a plan, define what you want. Another protection is acknowledging and knowing yourself and your past patterns. For me, I'm attracted to people long distance. Now, I'm not going to do that anymore because it makes me limerent. Remember, I need to see somebody every week in order to keep my system calm. That's not going to happen with a long distance relationships. I'll be flying up the wall probably I know that I'll be flying up the wall in a long distance relationship. Are you drawn to people you meet online? Go offline. The internet, by the way, plays a huge role in creating addictions when we get the reward all the time. And I give this example sometimes. I even was more addicted to the sound that I heard when Elo sent me a message than to the actual flesh and blood person. I'm going to repeat that. I got a bigger high by the sound of an incoming message from Elo. Of course, he had his own ringtone. Than the actual living, breathing, flesh and blood person. When Elo was sitting next to me, holding my hand, I was still luring at my phone, hoping I would get a message from him. That's so weird. But this shows so well that it's not Elo, it's the intermittent reward, and especially the reward or the relief that comes with the reward that we are addicted to. Another protection, and I will sum them up at the end of this video. Be aware of the glimmer, the aha, the wow, the whoosh, the moment of eye contact where your universe collapsed into an insane attraction. This insane attraction screams trauma bond. And LOs in general are people who have not worked through some issues. And of course, it's nice to date someone you find attractive, and you should, but I'm talking about the glimmer, the insane attraction, not normal attraction, insane attraction. Be aware of the glimmer because this indicates that there is trouble ahead. Pull back when you feel the glimmer. You should really like someone, but the glimmer is something else. Another one is have a look and count the obstacles. And what I mean by obstacles is everything that stands in the way for you two to form a pair. And I was before talking about the emotional resonance, the calmness in the frequency and the quantity and the quality of your contact, the alignment that keeps you calm. And in fact, limerence contains two big ingredients, and those are obstacles and hope. So what do I mean by obstacles? Well, them being already married is kind of an obstacle, or you being married. Them being 20 years younger and having a completely life is an obstacle. Them not wanting a relationship is kind of an obstacle to form a relationship. Long distance, inappropriate roles such as the student-teacher stuff, having to hide your religion, limited access to this person is also an obstacle. If they, for example, have to go off the radar for some secret mission, for example, or if they are just avoidant and they need to regulate without you for days. Obstacles create limerence. So don't date when you detect obstacles. An obstacle. Swipe away. Thank them for the interest, but no thank you. Keep yourself in check. Remember, being proactive instead of reactive. And obstacles create limerence because they cause frustration attraction. That's actually a thing. And obstacles play with our reward system like nothing else, and nothing makes us more addicted than a reward system that is activated. And with obstacles we cannot form the safe pair that our system wants us to form. Another proactive step that you can take: keep people in boxes, I call it. Don't mix up different roles. A teacher teaches you. A student is your student to learn from you, nothing else. Your co-worker is a co-worker. You don't try really hard to get their attention, besides maybe talking about a work email. Your platonic friend is your platonic friend. You don't flirt with your platonic friend, you flirt and date and kiss dating partners. You don't flirt and you don't kiss your friend's husband. That would be kind of wise. And you don't send winky kiss emotions to your dentist. Now, I left out one more important thing, and I will get to that. But so far, we have looked at old wounds, maybe with a therapist, look at the circumstances and change them, create a fulfilling life, take care of yourself, have a purpose, and live in integrity. Number 4 is be clear on what it is that you want, and what you want from others. No pretending, no molding, no compromising. Needs cannot be compromised, by the way. You cannot compromise yourself out of a dysregulated and freaked out nerve system with ratio. You can't tell your system to calm down because it will not calm down. You can't tell yourself to just accept how LO is handling you, or accepting breadcrumbs when you are unhappy. And we have number 5, know yourself, your history, your patterns, your weaknesses. Number 6 is run for the hill when you feel the glimmer. Number 7 is don't date with obstacles. Be aware of online contact and like I said, all the obstacles I was just talking about. And number 8 is only flirt and date and have sex with your dating partners and not with your dentist. Because limerents love when lines and roles get blurry. Now, having said all that, and this is also so important, what else can you do when you, by accident, did have sex with your dentist and you find yourself getting more and more anxious when you don't see them and you're getting more sucked into the addiction and another limerent episode is forming? You're getting more dysregulated. What can you do? You can walk away. You can choose to nip it in the bud. You can choose to let go of this highly attractive person. You can choose to not pursue this any further, to stop the addiction, to go through the withdrawal, to cry for a while until you are fine again. You have the power. You can attach, means also you can detach. You can walk away instead of staying there. You will not die. You will not be sad forever. You're dodging a bullet when you walk away, when things are not working out. That's self-care. That is being your own advocate. That is acting in your best interest. You have the power to quit and to walk away at any time when you ever will be limerent. But hopefully with all these tips, and taking these serious and taking these into consideration, you will not be limerent again. If you want my help in one-on-one coaching, my email address is in the description below. And for now, I want to thank you so much for watching this video and supporting me. And I hope to see you in another video. Bye.